Podcast 36, Week 38. Welcome to the podcast, Your Pregnancy Week by Week. This podcast covers the 40 weeks of pregnancy in 38 segments and is based on the book Your Pregnancy Week by Week by Dr. Glade Curtis, MD, and me, Judith Schuler, MS. The information in our books and podcasts is a general informative guide about pregnancy. None of the information we provide is intended to replace, countermand, or conflict with the advice given to you by your own doctor. Always follow his or her advice. Use the information you learn here as a starting place in your dialogue to help you put your pregnancy concerns, questions, or interests into words. The goal of every pregnancy is a healthy mom and a healthy baby. To that end, our podcasts cover many topics. In each weekly podcast, we'll highlight information contained in the same weekly discussion in our book. We suggest you read each weekly chapter to learn further information, such as how baby is growing and changing and how you're growing and changing too. Our book also contains illustrations of changes in baby or you, advice for dads, charts, lists, boxes, an exercise for every week, a comprehensive glossary, hints, tips, snippets, and blurbs we just can't reproduce in a podcast. So let's get started on this week's discussion. We're going to look at week 38. If you think you may be in labor and go to the hospital, they'll do a labor check when you get there. They'll take vital signs, place a monitor on your abdomen, and do a pelvic exam. If you're not in labor, you'll be sent home. If you aren't sent home, other tests may also be done. One may be a fetal blood sampling. In many hospitals, a baby's heartbeat is also monitored. External fetal monitoring can be done before your water breaks. Internal fetal monitoring monitors baby more precisely after your water breaks. It's most common for baby's head to come into the birth canal as it gets ready for birth, but sometimes a breech presentation occurs in which the baby's bottom comes first. It's not the position we want baby to be in. We want him or her to be head down. With a breech presentation, baby's head is at the top of the uterus and buttocks are down near the birth canal. But there are other types of breech presentation too. A frank breech occurs when baby's feet are up by its face or head. With a complete breech, knees are bent and feet are by the buttocks. With a footling breech, one or both legs are stretched out below the buttocks, positioned to come out first during delivery. For many years, breech deliveries were done vaginally. Then it was believed the safest method was by cesarean. Today, some experts believe a woman can deliver a breech vaginally if the situation is right. Other experts believe a baby in the breech position is probably delivered more safely by cesarean delivery before labor begins or during early labor. If you know baby is breech, tell them when you get to the hospital. If you call with a question about labor and have a breech presentation, tell the person you talk with. Your doctor may try to turn the baby from a breech to a head-down position before your water breaks, before labor begins, or in early labor. Using his or her hands, the doctor turns baby into the head-down position for birth. This is called external cephalic version, ECV, or just version. Possible risks with ECV include the rupture of membranes, placental abruption, effect on baby's heart rate, or onset of labor. Before your doctor tries to turn baby, you may be given an injection to relax your uterus and prevent uterine contractions. Once the uterus is relaxed, the doctor will try to turn the fetus. The doctor pushes and rolls the fetus to a head-down position. More than 50% of the time, turning baby is successful. However, some stubborn babies shift back again into the breech presentation. ECV may be tried once more, but version is harder to perform as your delivery date draws closer. Most women have a vaginal birth, which we're going to discuss now. As we've already covered, there are 3 distinct stages of labor. In stage 1, labor begins with uterine contractions and ends when the cervix is fully dilated and open enough to allow baby's head to come through it. Stage 2 begins when the cervix is completely dilated and ends with the delivery of baby. Stage 3 begins after baby's birth and ends with delivery of the placenta. Following delivery, you and baby are evaluated. During this time, you get to see and hold your baby. You may even be able to begin breastfeeding. You will probably stay in the hospital 24 to 48 hours after a vaginal delivery if you have no complications. If you do, your doctor will advise you. Have you heard about assisted delivery? It's used only with a vaginal birth. Assisted delivery is the use of a vacuum extractor or forceps to help deliver baby when labor isn't progressing, which means you're pushing but haven't made progress. A vacuum extractor or forceps should only be used to help with labor. If this isn't possible, a cesarean delivery is probably a better option. Assisted delivery is performed in a birthing center or hospital where a cesarean delivery can be done if it becomes necessary. The doctor uses a vacuum extractor or forceps to provide traction and to rotate baby's head to help deliver baby's body when mom's pushing efforts are not strong enough for a safe delivery. If the possible use of a vacuum extractor or forceps causes you concern, discuss it with your doctor. It's important to discuss any issues that may come up during labor and delivery before labor begins so you can address your concerns. You may not feel much like eating now. It's understandable. Snacks might be the answer. Eat small snacks throughout the day to keep your energy levels up, and keep drinking water. A routine part of baby's birth is delivery of the placenta. It's usually delivered within 30 minutes after baby's birth. In rare cases, a piece of placenta remains inside the uterus and doesn't deliver on its own. This is called a retained placenta. When it occurs, the uterus can't contract as much as it should, which can result in heavy bleeding. You may need surgery to remove all of the placenta. Your doctor will pay attention to the delivery of the placenta while you and your partner pay attention to baby. Many women want to know if they have to have their pubic hair shaved before birth. It's not a requirement. Many women are not shaved today. However, some women who chose not to have pubic hair shaved later told us it hurt a lot when their hair became entangled in their underwear due to normal vaginal discharge after birth. You might want to think about this and discuss it with your doctor. After baby's birth, you may have a craving for something you haven't been able to eat during pregnancy, or you may want to celebrate together with a special dinner from your favorite restaurant. Ask your doctor at a prenatal visit if there are any restrictions to your partner bringing in some treats for you both to share after baby's birth. If he or she doesn't know the answer, call the labor and delivery department of the hospital and talk with them. Being able to share something special as you get to know your baby is a wonderful way to start off your life as a family. Remember, our podcasts give you the highlights of what may be happening in any given week. Check our book, Your Pregnancy Week by Week, for more detailed information. You may also want to check out our book for partners, Your Pregnancy for the Father-to-Be. It covers pregnancy from a man's point of view and provides lots of valuable information a man may find very useful. If you want to find out more about our podcast, visit our website, yourpregnancyweekbyweek.com. If you're looking for something specific, check out the podcast topics list. It details topics covered in each podcast, so you can listen to a particular podcast or read a certain chapter week if you want more information, or if you want to check out something you missed or a topic we haven't covered yet.